Hallå? Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Hey, can you guys hear me? Does anyone hear me? Like, I have no idea how this works. Hello? 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 Do you hear me? Can any of you type in the chat? I have no idea how this Twitch thing works. Oh, you can hear me? Okay, great. Can someone else type in the chat and confirm that they can hear my voice and see my screen? Okay, great. How's the sound? Is it too loud? Too quiet? Is there any background noise? Oh, wrong window. All right, 3 minutes to the open. So these are my positions. They're all going to open about where they closed, from what I can see. And this is my long watch list. I don't have anything on my short watch list right now. I'm watching this Mallinckrodt. Like, I caught this thing near the lows. I caught a good chunk of this move, and then I got stopped out when it faded back. It had a big move down, like almost 50%. Now I'm watching it on the long side again. You know, next leg higher, it could easily go from here from 250s to, why can't it go back to $4 or something? So this is kind of stock where you can risk like 10-15 cents to make a dollar, $1.50 easily. So I'm watching it. It looks like it's gapping up. I don't know if there's any news on it. I'm a little bit late. It's 1 minute to the open because I was setting up this Twitch thing. Okay, so the news is they're gonna looking to settle opioid cases. Okay, good to know. So this is pretty much the only thing I'm watching out of the gate. I'm not really looking at many things right now because the market has been so choppy and swing and position trading hasn't been great for the past few months. But these lower price, smaller cap names, they have been moving. They can make nice moves even though the market is choppy. So I have a lot of these kinds of names on this watch list here. Let's see here. Sounds good. Do you trade small caps? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I trade everything. Mostly mid caps, but yeah, small caps also, and large caps. What broker are you using? I'm using Centerpoint Securities and Interactive Brokers. Okay, so the market is open. Let's see. I'm letting things settle for the first few minutes usually. Okay, so this Endo ENDP is also gapping up on the same news as Mallinckrodt. I don't know if there are any free trades on IB. I think I'm paying commissions, but it depends on which routes you use. I'm using the smart route thing. That one costs. But I think the free trades, then you get shitty executions. That's why it's free, because they're selling your order flow. So if you want great fills, free trading is not great. Okay. So my current positions are about break even overall. A few are up a few percent and a few are down a little bit. Let's see here. ENDP. So far this ENDP is opening much stronger than MNK, even though it's the same news. But on the other hand, I think the ENDP chart is stronger too, so maybe they are less unlikely to go bankrupt than Mallinckrodt is, because this chart is absolutely horrible. Okay, this one I'll remove from my long watch list. It's just down too much. I'll lower my alert level. Okay. Retail stocks are really strong. This retail ETF is breaking out of this little flag here. I traded it the past few sessions and taken losses on it. But now it looks like it's finally breaking out of this range. I'm also a little bit interested in Roku. Check my scans. This AMBA looks interesting. But again, I'm very careful with trades since the market has been so choppy, at least for me, past few months. And Tiva, this is also up with the same news. They're all in the same basket. They're all down a lot the past couple of years because they're in the same business, like opioids and stuff like that. And my overall exposure is very, very small right now. I think I'm like, let's see, maybe 20% invested right now. So I have a tiny exposure to the market. Okay, Mallinckrodt looks like it's starting to wake up a little bit and starting to take out the opening range highs. Let's see here. So I'll buy it if it breaks 254. and use this 247 as my stop. I'll buy 50,000 of this thing. You know, a really tight stop. And with slippage, my risk will be maybe 10 cents for a potential dollar or $1.50 move. JCPenney, low priced, very beaten down stock, recently made a big move, more than double from the lows, and now it's kind of lagging here with higher lows for the past month. This is also something you can risk like 3-4 cents, and heck, why can't it double? You know, if it doubles to $2, it's gonna be where it was earlier this year. Lower the alert on this thing. Oops, wrong. And if you have any questions, just type in chat and I'll answer them when I look at the chat. Meili is also trying to perk up from this little consolidation. Just had a little bit of a pullback, found some support. Shopify, the same thing. Like, these are recent leaders, like Shopify, Meili, and Roku are some of the main leaders this year, growth stock leaders. All right, I think I got stopped into Mankind. Yep, I got in at 255 average. Move it to positions and put my stop at 247, which is the low of the day. So I have 50,000 shares. I may add, if it gets some more volume, I may add another 25-30,000 or something. Right now I don't like the fact that it's lagging, like ENDP is performing much better. And TIV also. But I like the Mallinckrodt chart the most because I think it has the best risk reward. You know, 10 cent risk with slippage to potentially make, you know, 10, 15, maybe even 20 times as much. Let's look at my positions. So everything is kinda going sideways so far. This EMPH I've had forever. I've had it at this thing since April, and I sold some into strength, and I have some left, and I'm using this white line as my stop. This 21.28, and it looks like I may get stopped out very soon. It's really weak lately. And Citron had a hit piece on this, so I don't know. Some alert triggering. XRT, yeah, the retail ETF. I don't know, breakouts haven't been working for a few months for me, so it looks great, looks really great, but it's been going sideways for 6, 7 years, 8 years. Yeah. I don't know. Is this the start of a new nice round, maybe the 50 or something, or is it just gonna fail? I don't know. I'll make a watch list, or a backtracking watch list. For those of you who have been following my YouTube, you know what this is all about. I usually track all the major breakouts and breakdowns, and then I look them up a few weeks or a month later and just see how they performed. It's all about pattern recognition, training your brain to see patterns, like how a certain group did, or if it's like bottom breakouts or what kind of stocks are doing well, like beaten down stocks or stocks that have been strong lately, or stuff like that. So I'm gonna move these here. Japan, and this is a reminder for if I want to check something up later. Let's see, average down. What about Vibe? Let's see Vibe. If I can get the chart up. Here is it. Oh, okay. Yeah, these things can move. But this looks so toxic. It's a recent reverse split. Yeah, these things can move, but you have to be in early. And I mean, the buy point was at opening range highs. It's too late now for me at least. But I mean, can this thing go to like $7-8 today? Absolutely. But I'm not really finding these because they're so illiquid. Like this thing traded 400,000 shares yesterday. The dollar volume was what, 2 million? It's just, I don't, like my cutoff is 20 million. Like I scan for stocks that trade at least 15 or 20 million dollars worth per day. So I usually don't even see these things in my scans until they satisfy the liquidity conditions. But yeah, I mean, I mean, this is not for me. But I'll put it in my watch list because okay, I have 2 of them. What is this? Okay, this is empty. Remove this one. Okay, now the alerts start. This TC2000 is really shitty near the open. Alerts are always lagging by 5-10 minutes. Like you see these, they all triggered about half a minute after the open, and now it's already 12 minutes after the open. So okay, yeah. So it's mostly TIVA, sorry, ENDP and MNK that are triggering, the ones I've been talking about. TIVA, the third one, how is this one doing? This one has the worst chart. Not for me. Marvel, now this one looks great. It's pretty much a big flag, had a big run this year. And it's building, you see this, you can just draw a line. It's been building higher lows for the past like 7, 8, 9 months. But again, the breakouts haven't been working well past few months. So look at the weekly chart. I mean, this thing looks great. This is really good looking chart. Let's see here. Mercado Libre. Looking good. Shopify, Roku. What's the software ETF doing? Okay. So this thing tried to break down a few sessions ago, and looks like it found support on the rising 200-day. So I don't know. It's too uncertain right now. I'm not really... Okay, the major indices are looking pretty good. They're perking higher. Let's see here. I'm thinking about buying this thing. Have to use like a $10 stop. Yeah, I'll buy 1,000 shares of this thing. I'll risk 10k. This is for a longer term trade. This is nothing I will. Let's see. Okay, so I bought 10,000 shares of this Mercado Libre. Put my stop at 551. That's pretty much the low of the day. Let's see, Larkar 172. Are you looking to enter swings or are these? No, I don't trade much intraday. This is I'm mainly a swing and position trader. Like this Mercado Libre, I'm risking 10 bucks to potentially make $100. This could potentially be a multi-month trade, but if it stops me out today, that will be a day trade. But I don't really open trades with the intention of them being a day trade. Like, I'm willing to hold this thing for months and months. What swings are you looking for in this market environment? Well, it's been choppy for the past few months for my type of trading, so I'm really careful with what I buy. But if I see something that looks good, like I bought some Mallinckrodt, they had some news. Because this thing has big range, right? I don't think this thing doesn't follow the market. Like if it's gonna go, it's gonna go. It's such a beaten down stock. I mean, it's down like 90% this year. You know, if it wants to double, it's gonna double no matter what the market is doing, pretty much, unless the market is crashing. But it's not crashing, so. And mainly, you know, it's a leading stock. Like this Mercado Libre, it's like the Amazon of South America. Like they're very dominant in South America, and it's perking up. It's one of the leaders right now. So this is the reason why I'm buying it. It's not just some random stock that looks good. It's just they're in a very dominant position, and you know the funds want in. So. This is the reason why I'm buying it. You know, it's found some support, and we'll see. Again, it's all about the risk reward. You know, I'm risking 10 bucks, and this thing goes, it's gonna go up 100, 200 bucks easily. And if you look at my current positions, I do have a lot of beaten down names. Like this Mallinckrodt I bought today. This thing I've had for a while. I've owned this since this earnings day. It had a nice breakout here on earnings. I'm still holding it. It's a small SaaS name, software name. So I have, this is a beaten down name I bought yesterday. Like retail, some of these beaten down retail names have been strong lately. The retail index is breaking out today. Then I have another very beaten down stock. This is something I've been holding for a couple of quarters. Another beaten down name, like this thing is down. I mean, this thing is down like 98% over the past few years. So I don't know. I think it's a good risk reward. I don't, you know, this one I bought a few weeks back. I think I bought it here. But a beaten down name. Right now it's flagging. I think this thing could go to 10 bucks or something. It's a very thin name. I have tiny shares in my smallest account. BMA, another beaten down name, and an Argentina name. Another beaten down name. Like this is not. I usually buy strong stocks, but there's been a huge rotation over the past month from these high-flying growth names to beaten down names, so I have to adapt. I have to trade what's working. I can't stick to something that's not working. And also the thing is, the reason why I am a swing and position trader nowadays is because of account size. Like, day trading is great if you have an account that's it's a small account, say less than 1 million or less than a couple of million. That's a great way to trade, the day trade. And it's the fastest way to learn trading and growing your account, because you do a lot of trades. But once you get to over 1 million or 2 million, it just can't scale that. It's so hard. So you have to find other ways of making money. That's why I swing and position trade, and rarely day trade, very rarely. Let's see this vibe. Let's see what happened here. Looks like it. Damn, TC2000 is so slow near the open sometimes. Yeah, now this vibe, these things are toxic. Like I'm without even looking at their SEC filings, I bet they have toxic financing. And now someone is pumping this. And sometimes they can go, if you're in early, they can go up a lot, like several 100% intraday, but a lot of time this is what happens. They just, they run and then it just tank because they're selling into this. They have toxic financing and they're selling paper into all of these crazy people buying these things. And now it took out the intraday lows. No, so everyone's bought after the open are down on it today. So you gotta be really fast. And you can't trade this thing with a big account. I can't buy 50k shares of this thing. I just can't. So I tend to trade these like mid-cap stocks. Right now I just happen to have a lot of small cap names because that's what's been working, is beating down smaller cap names. But I love to trade stuff like Roku and Shopify, these higher priced bigger cap names, institutional quality names. Can buy a couple of thousand of this thing, no problem. Let's see, what's my Mercado Libre doing? It's about where I bought it. So again, I'm risking 10k on it to possibly make a few 100k over the next few months, if it works. Not able to borrow Vibe at center point. Yeah, I don't know. I usually don't short these runners on day 1. I usually short them on day 2, 3. Because I always found it very hard to short on day 1. You make money 4 out of 5 times, and the 5th time you get run over. It just... Okay, another beaten down name that's breaking the flag. You know what? I'm buying some of this right now. Let's see, what's the average volume? So about 10k, right? Or 1 million, yeah. So I'll buy 10,000 of this thing. Okay, I bought 10,000. So my risk is gonna be 12. Let's say, what's the low? Yesterday's closing price is 12.52. Today's low is 12.54. 12.55 or 12.57. Okay, 12.57 is gonna be my stop. So I'm risking about 4k, 4.5 or so. Let's say 5,000 with slippage. This one I had on my watch list a couple of days ago, and then I kind of took it off. but I had an alert set, so that's what triggered now. So I immediately recognized the chart when I saw it. So JC Penny looks like it's triggering. So Mallinckrodt, I don't think I'm gonna buy more. The volume is not exciting at all. Kind of low. Nothing compared to the run it had a couple of weeks ago. So I have 50,000, I'm gonna stick with it. Let's do some scans, let's see here. These Brazilian payment stocks like PAX and STNE, these things are, I've been following them for a while. But they've been choppy for me. But this STNE, I put an alert here in case it breaks in a few days. It looks like there's a little bit of flag forming. This looks like a buyout. Some old shipper stock. GoPro, I think this thing had buyout rumors this week. US Steel, I think they guided or something. I think someone on Twitter said something about this, but there's nothing here. Let's see how AK Steel is doing. Yeah, about the same chart. So all these beaten down names, they look potentially promising. Another beaten down flag, but this thing is very choppy. There's like 10, for example, is much more cleaner chart, so I prefer that one. A lot of stocks looking like this, been beaten down and then they've been flagging over the past month. Let's see, CLF. No, there's nothing here. I don't see anything here. It's just in the middle of a range. This is not for me. And guys, if any of you are listening, if you have any questions, just type it in chat and I'll happily answer any question you have. Are you primarily looking for flag breakouts in these beaten down names? Yeah, flags, you know, that's the flag breakouts is the type of setup that's been working best for me. That's where I made, I think, most of my money over my trading career. I've been trading for 8 years, and flags, you know, flags, they work on all time frames. You can trade flags of the daily chart, which I'm doing now because I'm a swing and position trader. But if you're an intraday trader, you can trade like intraday flags. Let's take something like ENDP, for example. Like this thing is up. Well, it's too early in the day, but if you have something like let's say this EN, it's up 17% on the day. Let's say it goes sideways for a few hours, and you know, builds up, maybe pulls back a little bit, goes sideways, starts building higher lows intraday. You know, that's something you could trade for a late day move with a set risk. Let's say you're gonna risk, I don't know, 10 cents to make 30 or 40 cents. The same principle. Well, actually you do have a small flag here near the open. Like it had a big pop, went sideways for 5-10 minutes, and then it had another leg up. Like this is something you can definitely trade. You just have to define your time frame. It's all about defining your time frame. Since I have a longer time horizon, I don't look at the intraday flags. I just don't care. I look at the daily charts and also the weekly charts. right now I'm streaming my TC2000 of one screen, but I usually have it on two screens so I can see the charts are larger, and I also look at the weekly chart for everything. But just for streaming purposes, I've scaled it down to one screen. I'm a little bit intrigued by this JCPenney. This thing averages almost, you know, about 10 million shares per day. So if I'm gonna buy it, I'll buy 100,000 shares. I usually, my position sizing is I try to be no more than 1% of the average daily volume. So if I have to buy and sell the same day, I don't want to be more than 2% of the daily volume, the average daily volume. So the average for this thing has been, you know, about 100,000 shares per day for the past few months. So 1% of that, that's 100,000 shares. Or sorry, 10 million shares, and 1% of that is 100,000 shares. Let's see here. I'm focusing on high tide flags for anticipation swings, but you mean also that are more short? I don't know what time frame you're talking about. Are you talking about daily charts or intraday charts? But the cleaner the chart, the better. The cleaner, the better. You don't want sharp. This is like if you look at this AA versus 10, like they're kind of similar charts, but you can see this 10 is just, it's a cleaner chart. Just look at the flag. It's just much cleaner. And now we have a defined breakout. Like AA, this is, I don't know, it looks choppy, but you have to train your eyes to that. You know, I've been doing this for 8 years. I've been looking at maybe 1,000 charts daily for 8 years. So you kind of get a feel for it, for what's clean and what's choppy. And this JCPenney also looks very clean defined moves. Let's see it. More alerts triggered. Yeah, I had a lot of alerts of this ENDP. JCPenney, a few alerts. OIH. Oh, this string triggered again. Raise my alert line. A few stocks I'm looking at that may be big runners. Not now because they don't have great charts, but at least AR and RRC. These things are down like 90% over the past, or 80-90% over the past year or so. This COG, not this COG so much, but these things are very beaten down. Like they're, you know, they're probably headed to bankruptcy, but they could have a big tradable bottom, or not a bottom, but like a rally. Like this MNK had from this, they had like a restructuring rumor, and from that news it more than doubled in a few days. So I like keeping these things because you can find really tight setups and have great risk reward trades from these. I think I'll be streaming for another 30 minutes or so, because I'm not gonna do much the rest of the day. Most of my trading usually occurs in the first hour or so, and then I don't do much rest of the day. I do some scanning and maybe I do some trading, but usually most of the action happens in the first hour. So there's no point for me sit here and stream for another 6 hours or so. Maybe I'll start another stream like 30 minutes before the close, and I go through what happened and if I did something. But I'll let you know on Twitter. And those of you who follow me here on Twitch, you'll probably get an alert or email when I do. But I guess all of you follow me on Twitter anyway, so I'll send a link on Twitter when I do that. But right now it's all about waiting. Everything I bought is pulling in now because the market is tanking. Yeah, so oh boy, was there a tweet? This looks like it could be the result of a Trump tweet. Let's see on Twitter. Or there was some macro news maybe. I'm just checking my Twitter, see what my people I follow are talking about. Just doing a quick check out. Oh, okay, so I see. Worst ISM since June 2000. Okay, so it's a manufacturing number that was shitty. That's why everything I bought is going down. And EMPH, I'm really close getting stopped. I'll put a hard stop so I don't have to watch this thing manually. Okay, so now I don't have to watch this. Let's see here. Most of my other things are holding up fairly well. Melee tanked a little bit, but it's still holding the breakout line. MNK, that one is very close stopping me out. I have a stop set at 247. Yeah, it got rejected here of the declining 20-day. You see this declining yellow line? Like every time this thing has been a resistance area, and no different this time. I thought this may break out and maybe go back to $4, but we'll see. Let's see here. So far I'm down, let's see, I'm down about 11,000 on the stocks I bought after the open. On my Mallinckrodt 10 and Melee combined, I'm down about 11,000 for now. And if I get stopped out of them, I think my overall risk is about 20k or so if I get stopped out of them. So we'll see. If I get stopped out of all of them. Like this is the worst kind of market where the indices are kind of strong, like they're near all-time highs, or like they are now, like SPY and Russell. Oh no, Russell not so much, but Nasdaq. They look great. Like they're very strong. They're not tanking or anything, but under the hood you have stocks are really weak, and the breakouts are really fragile. So I've always had the trouble in these kinds of markets. So this is why I'm very careful. Okay, I got stopped out of Mallinckrodt. That sucks. Lost 6,000 on it. I'll set a new alert. A little bit higher. What's Endo doing? Endo is also losing a lot of the intraday gains, and Tiva also, yeah. Alright, so let's take it out of this list and take it from... 10 is holding up fairly well. And Melee, it's going... Oh, well, we'll see what happens here. Also, one thing I haven't seen this year is a theme where you have a small cap, primarily small cap sector making a big run, like a stock or a group of stocks making a big run. Like every year there's been like something like the Mariana stocks, like stuff like, you know, CGC and ACB a few years ago. Tilray, like making huge moves, or Overstock a couple of years ago, or this Plug and BLDP, the fuel cell stocks a few years ago made huge moves, like 10 baggers, 20 baggers, BLDP2, you know. I haven't really seen something like this year, something, or this HMNY, my biggest percentage trade ever. Like there haven't been any. I'm usually pretty good at finding them, not necessarily trading them, but finding them. So I'm stalking a few sectors that may, like right now with the environment thing going on, like this Plug and a few other of these like fuel cells and electrification stocks. I've been stalking them, but there's been no go. You know, finding something like this, you know, that goes up like 500 or 1,000% over a few weeks, you know, that's also something I've nailed a couple of times per year over the past 3-4 years, but not this year, unfortunately. Speculation money is not there. I don't know. You know what, I'll put a stop loss on this 10 also, so I don't have to watch it as closely. So this is what I do most of the day. I just scroll through my positions. I scroll through my watch list. Oh, gold is going higher on this. Yeah, okay. It's no good setup. I'm just stalking this nugget. I've had some really good trades this summer on it. I bought it on this opening range breakout on this day here. I added on this day, but I got stopped out eventually on that ad. I added on this day, but I also got stopped out on this ad, and then I added on this day, had a little bit of a trade, got stopped out, break even, the rest. So, but yeah, I've had some great trades on this nugget. It's a triple gold ETF, I think it is, and USLV too. This thing had a perfect high tide flag, a few months ago, which I traded. Unfortunately, I overstayed a little bit. So I'm watching this, you know, for good setups. Like this USLV, I can't believe how perfect this flag was. Just look at this thing. Went up 50% or so in a month. Went sideways, you know, tightened up, then just a perfect breakout, where it went up another 40% in just I don't know, 2 weeks or so. But you don't get these kinds of perfect high tight flats very often, unfortunately. Yeah, look at this XRT. This is what I'm talking about. It looked like a great breakout. You know, had a big move off the lows, pulled back, built in a range, higher lows, and look at this thing now. It just took out the opening range lows. This is what I talked about. I don't have the balls to buy it because it's gonna fail, and it did. Yeah, Vibe too. Look at this Vibe now. Just crazy selling. They're just selling so much paper into this. All these crazy day traders. I know a lot of day trading rooms are looking at these lower priced liquid reverse split stocks, and they all buy, you know, once they get a little bit of volume or some PR, they all buy into this, create these spikes, and then the holders of the toxic paper, they sell into it every single time. Just so stupid. I used to be like that too. I bought these stocks, you know, because they're like lottery tickets. 9 out of 10 times they fail, and the 10th time it's gonna make a big move. What are the Chinese tech stocks doing? Baba is weak, Tencent weak, yeah, FXI. Yeah, China looks weak too. Like this Yin is an ETF I've been trading a lot. The China ETF. Especially early last year when it made big moves, I traded a lot on the both on the short and the long side. Had some great trades on it. But this is my go-to ETF when it goes to China stocks. So instead of buying a bunch of them individually, you can just buy the ETF. There is like FXI, but it's much slower moving. Its average daily range is 0.8%, which is really little. This Yin has a 2.3%. Something like USLV 6.4%. So it's something I track in. It's a custom indicator I made in TC2000 that tracks the average intraday range. So you want stocks to have. I generally scan for stocks. I think over 2.5%, because everything below that, they're just too slow moving. You want stocks that are moving fast, stocks and ETFs that can make explosive moves. Look at this Mallinckrodt, 19.3%. The average daily range is 19.3%, almost 20%. So on an average day over the past, I think it's over the past, 20 days, the intraday move, the average intraday move has been 20%. That's insanely high. You had a day here, the 9th of, no wait, what day is this? Like 19th of October, where it, I think it made like a 70-80% move or something. So this thing can really move. That's one of the reasons I bought it. Risk 10 cents to make a dollar, $1.50. That's what trading is all about. Small losses, big gains. What's Mercado Libre doing? It's kind of holding. It's kind of an intraday range. And indices are, they're still tanking. Wow. If you look at closely at the SPY, the index failed right on top of the rising 20-day moving average, and also the 10-day has started declining. I don't know, maybe I'm making things up here, but these things matter until they don't. So the question is, will we break lower, or will we keep building this little flag and then go lower or higher? But right now, it's been a very news-driven market past couple of months. More than usual since Trump got elected. Or at least the market has reacted more, in my opinion. At least my accounts. Okay, looks like I may get stopped out of this 10 soon. Like these auto part stocks. 10, AD&T, like there's nothing here but another beaten down auto part. I don't know what that even means. I don't know like what kind of auto parts. I have no idea. Maybe they're not even in the same business, even though they are grouped as auto parts. DLPH also, there's nothing there in the shop, but this pen looks good. That's why I bought it. Question, apart for high ADR, what are you looking for in bottoming beaten down stocks for high risk reward potential? Range, like not only ADR, but you want big range. You want things that are down like 80-90% over the past 6 months or a year, like this 10 is down a lot. And you know, you want clean charts, like let's look at this AA, like it's not clean in the same way. It's kind of choppy. There's no clean defined moves. Like this 10, you get cleaner moves. Like look at this past run. Look at how clean it was. Let's see the weekly chart. Nah, I can't really see it, but you just take a sometimes you just take a shot. Like it's kind of hard to explain what I see. A lot of this experience based. Like I have a huge database of charts in Evernote, like literally tens of thousands of charts and stocks, and I've annotated them with news and earnings and stuff like that. You know, this is a project I've been working on for 6 years. I'm still not done. I'm constantly updating it. I have thousands of stocks, and you know, from like pretty much like the 80s and forward. And I even have charts of stocks from the 20s and 30s and 60s, etc. It's the same patterns repeating. And if you can get good news, or any kind of news. Like let's say you have some bad news and the stock is not going down or even starts going up, that's also a good sign. How much is fundamental in finding the good setups, would you say? Ooh, they're not necessary. Like for example, something like Mallinckrodt, which I was long like a month ago, and I got stopped out today. Well, I bought it and got stopped out today. Like I wouldn't be surprised if this thing goes bankrupt in a few months, just like Purdue Pharma did. They have a huge debt load. This company has a huge debt load, and like the fundamentals are really shitty. But the thing is, it's so beaten down. Like if it would double from here to 5, it would be where it was back a couple of months ago. And you know, it could be anything that can trigger a rally like that. A lot of this short covering, like people that started short, or funds, not people. This is not retail stock. I don't think a lot of retail is shorting it. But let's say, like a good example, like sometimes good news can be bad news and bad news can be good news. Like a couple of months ago when there was I think it was a Bloomberg article that said that they hired a restructuring firm. Now that's obviously bad news. That means when a company hires a restructuring firm, that's like they're in trouble. Like they're officially saying they're in trouble, even though they're saying everything is fine. To the investors, things are not fine. And that triggered a huge rally when it doubled. But it could have released some kind of news like, oh look, we got some kind of an approval, and that wouldn't have moved the stock because I don't look, I don't know, it's just, it depends a lot. I would say news and fundamentals are great, but like 95% of my trading is still price action. Like it doesn't really matter if the fundamentals and news are great or bad. It's all about price action. It can be kind of confusing because the markets don't make sense ever. Even though a lot of people, they try to make sense of the markets, but they don't. You just have to get used to that sometimes good news is bad news and bad news is good news if you are a trader. Let's see, how much is fundamental in finding the good setups? Or the question is finding the good setups. Like I scan for stocks and they're all based on price action. Like I scan and it doesn't really matter what the fundamentals are, at least for finding the stocks. Now trading is another thing. Like if you look at, these are my scans, they're all like 5-day gainers. This 5-day loser scan, I don't really look at this one very often. Biggest 1.5 year gainers, biggest 1 month gainers. Like I look for strong stocks. Everything is pretty much based on flags. And those stocks, they may or may have good news or bad news, or good fundamentals or bad fundamentals. So 95% is price action, everything else is irrelevant. I don't know if that answered your question. I really can't give a simple answer more than that. And also, I'm not really used to articulating my trading method, since this is the first time I really do something like this. And I don't really know any traders in real life. I met a few, but they're all like shorter term, like day traders, and that's not really what I do. So there's no point for me to like interact with day traders normally. So there's like trading rooms you can join here in Sweden where you can physically sit in the same office, but I've never been interested in that. So I've never really been social on the trading front. I've usually sat alone in my office. So it's kind of hard for me. This is like one of the very first times I've tried to articulate my trading method to other traders. And I've done it a lot of times to non-traders, but then I have to really simplify it. What do you think of GH? Seems like it's been beaten down a lot recently since earnings. Like, this thing has had some really good runs this year. Yeah, it's really beaten down. Really beaten down. It's down, what, 50%? Yeah, 45% past few months. There is no setup here right now. It's just, for what I'm concerned, it's a falling knife. It's a broken chart. Yeah, that's all I can say. Nothing here for me. Maybe a few weeks or a few months from now, if it starts, you know, going higher, building some type of flag and clearing these, and maybe these moving averages started. Now, these moving averages, they're all starting to like turn down. But when they start turning back up, eventually, you know, that could be a trade. But yeah, I mostly missed this thing. I missed the breakout here. I did trade the earnings breakout here, but I got stopped out a few days later, and then it had another breakout and went up a lot, over 40%, 45% in a few months. But I missed that run. But I did buy it here and got stopped out. So that's frustrating. Yeah. This is one of the biggest, it's one of the fastest growing growth stocks in the market right now. Look at the sales. Look at the revenue growth the past quarter, 179%. You don't get that many. There's maybe no more than 10 stocks in the US markets right now trading, you know, growing revenues that fast. They're still unprofitable, but yeah, the revenue growth is insane. So I track all of those. Oh, 10, I'm gonna get stopped out of this. Ooh, very close getting stopped out of this 10. Now Melee is turning higher. Oh wait, this was a 60-minute chart. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Another growth stock. They all look the same. Like, they've all been selling off the past 2-3 months. Some of them are down like 30 to 50%. A lot of them. Okta, another one. So in this group, there's, you know, I've been trading a lot of these names the past few years, but there's nothing there right now. They're very expensive. A few years ago, a lot of these growth names, they were trading at 10 times sales, and then they went to 20 times sales, and then, you know, a lot of them were at 50 times sales. It's just nosebleed levels. So I have a few scans here. Like, this is my own, this scans just my watch list for where I have like strong stocks, momentum stocks, and often combined with good fundamentals. This is like, if you know StockB is, stockb.biz or stockb.blogspot.com, like, that's where I got the idea. This scans for stocks that are 8% or more with some liquidity criteria. Let's see. Yeah, 35 million in dollar volume or share volume, and 13 million in dollar volume, and up 7.5% or more. So right now there's 3 stocks in this. Then I have a momentum watch list that I scan. That's pretty much my momentum watch list. Is a watch list where I get all of the stocks from these scans, and also the loser scans. So the winner scans and the 2 loser scans I have. That's all in my momentum watch list, and that I scan that watch list for stocks that are up at least 0.6 times or 0.6 60% of the average ADR, and at least $7.5 million worth of stock traded on the day. This is a ADR scan. Like in TC2000, the ADRs are in a separate. You have to scan for them separately. This is OTC scan, like the OTC stocks. ETF scan. Let's see, there's some new stocks here. DGAS, this thing is up a lot lately. The UGAS is the opposite, yeah. Okay. And this is where I scan stocks with higher ADRs that may not, and lower volume that may not get picked up by my usual scans. Let's see here. CRWD, CrowdStrike, right? Yeah, recent IPO, also huge revenue growth. Yeah, and work. Yeah, exactly. They were trading at very high multiples. That's yeah, exactly. Yeah, Team. No, Slack. How's Team doing? Atlassian. Holding up kind of well. Interesting. PE of 156. It's a pretty high PE. And the expected growth is not that. They're expecting to grow 17% next year. And I think this is 2021. 30%. Yeah, 156 PE for not very high growth. Yeah. But these are analyst estimates, of course, and analysts, they are wrong more often than they're right, so who knows. Let's see. I might. Oh yeah, still very close getting stopped out of this 10. You know what, I'm gonna raise a few stops, like this YPF. I think I'm gonna raise it to 918. This is like YPF and GJAL or GJAL or whatever it's called. These are very liquid, illiquid stocks, so I don't have a lot of shares of these. These are more like lottery tickets. Like these are stocks I think they can go up 50-100% over the next few months with kind of tight stops. And I have small positions, and I have them in my smallest account. I have 3 accounts, 2 at Centerpoint and 1 at Interactive Brokers. So I have these positions in Interactive Brokers. But these are positions I really don't care about since they're so small. Let's see, GJL 1255 is my new stop. BMA, I think I'm gonna raise this one to 24/7 funds. 71. Okay, JWN, let's see here. Yeah, it's going down just like the retail ETF. Kind of look the same, right? Yeah, they look almost identical for the past few months, or the past 2 months. Yeah, most things are going lower, looks like. Oh, 2 cents, 2 pennies from getting stopped out. Nope, there it is. I got stopped out of this thing. Oh well. And Mallinckrodt is not red on the day. I'll set a new. I'll put a new trend line alert on this thing. because if it holds this 12 area and let's say it starts breaking out again at in 2, 3, 5 days from now, I'll buy it back because the chart looks great, and I'll risk 50 cents to potentially make, I don't know, $3 to $5 or something. That's a trade I'm willing to do any day. But this is very different from day trading, because in day trading you're trying to get a high win rate. Like your win rate should probably be higher than 50%, definitely. But your risk reward is smaller. Like your risk reward is maybe 2-3 times your initial risk. It's very hard to get 10 times your initial risk. A trade that makes you 10 times the money, or 10 times your risk on an intraday trade. But in swing and position trading, that's what I'm aiming for in like every trade. I try to get 5-10 times potential reward over the risk on every single trade. But my win rate is very low. My win rate is maybe, I don't know, 30%. So it's a different kind of trading. So day trading, you're trying to make a lot of trades, lower risk reward, but you compensate that by doing more trades. But in swing and position trading, you do a little fewer trades, definitely. Instead of making, I don't know, 10 trades per day, you maybe make 10 trades per week or something. I don't know. It also depends. Let's see, Mercado Libre. Oh, it's going lower. Yeah, so I got stopping out of Mallinckrodt and 10. So I'm down about 10 on those, and Mercado Libre, my risk is 10,000 too. So if I get stopped out of Mercado Libre, I'll be down 20k on the day, which is fine. It's not a, it's less than 1% of my account, so it's not a big deal. That's what trading is all about. It's about risk taking. It's all about risk taking. If you don't put any real money on the table, then you won't make any real money either. But I just wish this market to either like break out and make a big run, or just break down and do something like it did fourth quarter last year, just tank. Because as I said, like when the indices look kinda good and there's still a decent amount of stocks that are holding up and having good breakouts, but they all fail. It's for me personally, that's the hardest type of market to trade. Like a market like this, which just goes down every day, that's not a hard market to trade. I just don't trade. It's very easy. That's the easiest market. I don't do much. I maybe trade some of these volatility ETFs like UVXY. Like I do trade those, VXX, TWIX, all of those. But individual stocks, I don't trade them much at all. Let's see, concerning the flag breakouts, are you entering trades in the morning to get in early in as early as possible in a flag breakout move, or are you entering trades? Well, I don't really, like, I buy them as they break out. Like, I don't care if the breakout is in the morning or in the afternoon or midday or something like that. It doesn't matter to me. For me, it's important that the market is good, that the setup is solid, and that there is preferably volume. Like and usually you get volume when there's news. When I say volume, I mean above average volume. This is what I was talking about, this Mallinckrodt. When I saw this candle forming, like the volume wasn't that big compared to when it had a run like a month ago. Look at the volume, it was much higher. So on this candle, the volume was kind of low, So that's when I said I'm not going to add to it because the volume is not really confirming the move. Well, let's see here. So yeah, the time frame doesn't matter as long as the stock is not up a lot on the day. Like I'm not gonna buy, like let's say if like now I bought it when I bought it 255, but I also have another indicator custom made that I made that shows the average true range. So the difference between average daily range, average true range is the average daily range shows the percentage move intraday from the open to the low, or I think from the previous day's close. You know what? I don't even know. Damn, it was so long I made these, so long ago. But I know, I think the average true range shows the intraday, the average intraday move. Like it doesn't include gaps. Average daily range includes gaps, but average true range doesn't. And the average true range is in cents. So this is 51 cents. So the average true range for Mallinckrodt is 51 cents. So I usually have a rule that when a stock is up more than its average true range. Now there's always exceptions to this rule, but 95% of the time I don't buy a stock even though it looks good, but if it's up more than its average true range. So yesterday's close was 241. So the highest I would have bought this stock would have been 292. So 241 plus 51 cents, that's 292. So that's the highest I would have bought this stock. So if the opening range highs would have been, let's see if it had gapped up more, let's say it would have gapped up to 280. Right now it gapped up to like 255, 253, but if it had gapped up to say 280, you know, gone sideways a little bit and then broke the opening range highs at like 295 or something, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So it doesn't matter, the time of the day doesn't matter as much as a volume and how much is already up on the day. Are you looking for high relative volume intra? Yeah, exactly. You always want like when it's obvious that the volume for the day is high above average, that's a good sign. Usually I find that those kinds of breakouts work better because it's just not some random move that has a high fail rate. There's usually some kind of news involved, and usually there's also a gap up involved. Like some of my better trades this year have been on earnings gaps, like Roku back in May. I bought it here. I also added here. This was both earnings gap. Look at the volume. This thing was very obvious very early, already in pre-market, that the volume was gonna be high above average. Same thing here. I also EMPH, another earnings gapper. I'm still in it, as I talked about like an hour ago. Had high volume and it had earnings. There's been a few others like Meili. This one I think I bought it on this day, but for some reason I sold it. I think I got stopped. I think I bought it intraday and I got opening range breakout, but then it kind of dipped below the opening range breakout and then it went. So this is a trade that went up, you know, over 70% over the next few quarters, but I got stopped out. I never bought in again. But this is another example of earnings gapper, you know, had a long sideways move. Like earnings gappers, that's pretty much mine. If I only had to trade one setup, it would be it. Like stocks that gap up on surprisingly good earnings with high volume. Do you buy right at the open if it has high? I usually Oh, Dean Guts, didn't we meet in Las Vegas? We did, right? Aren't you the guy I've been talking about? Oh, we've been talking on Instagram, right? You. Oh yeah, yeah. How are you? Do you buy right at the open? I usually look at the open at the 1 and 5 minute charts. Sometimes I even buy like a pre-market if it's that liquid enough. Because sometimes these stocks are very liquid pre-market, like they're trading like they're like intraday, like the stock would, like the market is open, and that's what you want to see on the best earnings breakouts. But if I don't buy pre-market, or if I buy pre-market, I want to add to it, I usually look at the 1 and 5 minute charts. I may buy some on the 1 minute candle. Like I let the first minute candle form, and as soon as it breaks that, I buy, and I put a stop below that candle, like the lows of the day, or the 5 minute, and or I do both. And then if I want to add to it even more, I wait for the 5 minute candle to form, and then I might buy it or even add to it. So that's I like opening range breakouts. That's a big deal, and you can define them in many ways. You can use like any kind of time frame. You can use the 30-minute chart, the 60-minute chart, or 5-minute chart. So you kind of have to experiment with that. Okay, it looks like I'm gonna get stopped out in Roku also. I'm gonna put a hard stop on that. Well, that sucked. That's not the kind of start I wanted on my first streaming day. I think I'm gonna lose on on all of my trades. But that's how it is. That's how it is. Let's see, what's my stop here? 551.05. Oh, sorry. Ah. Let's see, Mealy, 551.05. I actually fat finger traded right now. I put a stop on Roku instead of Mealy, but I don't have any Roku, so I accidentally shorted 500 of Roku. That sucks. I'm gonna lose like $100 on this. I'm gonna cover it right away. Okay, never mind. I lost like $25 on that fat finger trade. Damn. For some reason I thought Mercado Libre was Roku. I don't know why. But that happens all the time. Like I fat finger all the time. Not every day, but definitely every week. Like I oversell or overbuy, or I put a stop on the wrong level, or like it happens all the time. And most of the time I lose money on my fat fingers, but sometimes I do make money, so. But most of the time I lose money on my fat fingers. My fat finger trades. Also, if you're interested in following my channel, you can follow me. There's a follow button you can click. I'm not exactly sure where it is because I can't see the follow button for my own channel, but it's there somewhere. And then you'll get an email if you don't see it on Twitter. If you don't see the link on Twitter, top right, yeah, okay, top right corner is the button. So you'll get an email or any kind of notification. I think you can choose your own notification, but you'll get an email when I start streaming. So I'm thinking about starting streaming like the first hour or first hour and a half every day, and just be consistent with it, and just answer people's questions and talk trading. And because there's more interest than I thought there would be. Like there's 19 people looking at it right now, which is more than I thought there would be, honestly. So that's great. Is there any way to like not like promote your stream in Twitch? Like if you like put hashtags and stuff, I have to experiment with it. There were so many settings and things, I got a headache trying to set this thing up. But I'm very happy it works and the sound is working. That's the most important thing. But I'm gonna experiment with hashtags and stuff and see if I can get more viewers to the stream that way. There should be the hashtags, like in YouTube. You can put like 50 hashtags or something. There should be something like that for Twitch too, right? Does anyone know? So I'm gonna do a last scan here. On my watch list and my scans and my positions. And what I do rest of the day, I pretty much do these scans like once per hour, like now it's 5 p.m. here in Sweden. So 6 p.m. or in like 5-10 minutes before that, I'm gonna go do this thing, do the same thing, like look through my watch list, my positions, my scans. I'm gonna read Twitter, see if anything is moving. Because again, if you're a swing or position trader, you don't have to look at things all the day. You don't. One of the big advantages with swing and position trading is you're not near your entry most of the time. Like even though like this EMPH is about to stop me out, my entry is here. Like I don't really care what it does here, right? I'm just following. I'm just trailing my stop. But if you're an intraday trader, let's look at the intraday stop. I mean, whatever. This is just a illustration. Let's say your entry may be here, right, and your stop may be here. So you're always very close to your entry or to your stop. So you have to watch things more closely. You have to follow them. And any kind of Trump tweet could stop you out of the trade very fast, while I may be 10% away from my stop. Right now I just happen to be kind of close on a lot of my stocks, close to the stop, just because the market's been so crappy, and a lot of these positions are kind of new positions. Let's see here. Then I looked through my watch list. So let's look through my scans. There's not much new on my scans because these scans they scan for stocks that are up, and since the market is down, there's not many stocks up right now. A lot of these reverse ETFs are up. TCA, LABD, this is the reverse LABU, which is a triple biotech ETF. TCA, yeah, this is a small cap, triple reverse, triple reverse small cap ETF. So I think I'm gonna cut the stream right now because I'm not really gonna do much rest of the day. I'm thinking about, I'll send out the link like if I get the time to do it, or maybe I'm in a group in World of Warcraft and we're in the middle of a boss fight or something, then I won't have time to do it. But I'm aiming to do it in the last hour or 30 minutes before the close, like a quick stream. maybe 15-20 minutes, go through what happened during the day and maybe post some screenshots on my trading, because my trading computer, I have a notebook where I do my trades, so it's not connected to this computer, so I can't stream my screen, but I can take a screenshot. Right now I'm pretty much down 18,000 on the trades I did today. I'm close to getting stopped out on Roku, so that's not Roku, Mercado Libre. Damn, why am I always thinking about Roku when I think about Mercado Libre? But yeah, it's kind of close stopping me out too. We'll see. But that's being a swing position trader. You have to wait a lot. There's not every day you get set up. Sometimes you get, I can go several days between trades. So it's different from day trading in that way, because as a day trader, when I was a day trader, there wasn't anything to do every day. Like just some days there was nothing good to trade. Very rarely. Happens much more often now when I'm swing trading. But I'm a chronic over trader. Like that's one of my biggest flaws. Like I'm over trading. I want to do everything every day, but that's not how the market works. It's not gonna give you some. Just because you trade it, the market is not gonna give you anything. Actually, it's quite the opposite. You get punished for trading too much. Happens to me all the time. Yeah, TIVA is red on day. ENDP is holding up the best out of the three opioid stocks or whatever they are. Let's see. This has been very helpful and adds to your previous YouTube vids. Will you record this? Yeah, I'm actually recording this stream. I'm thinking about adding it to YouTube, uploading it to YouTube, so you can, you know, I don't think anyone's gonna watch these when. I don't think any of you who's watching my stream is gonna watch the same thing on YouTube, but I'm gonna add it to YouTube anyways, because maybe I can get some new people to stream that way. I don't know. Hi there. Have you been trading? No, you have been trading for 8 years. How much was my initial capital? It was about $5,000, and I lost 90% of that within the first 2 months. I blew up the first 2 months. Then I went back to work, saved up some more, started again with like 3-4. I blew up again. So I took a loan, started again, I blew up again. Then I took another loan, and then I kind of went sideways for about a year. And then I started making money. So first year I blew up like 3 times, and I was close blowing up another couple of times the second year when I was going sideways. But I had some big swings there too. And now, well, let's just say I don't really need to trade anymore. Let's just say that. But I like doing it anyways, just to see how far I can go. Like right now I'm down 18k today, but that's not a big deal, right? It's just not really a big deal. It's less than it's much less than 1% of my account. Yeah. So okay, I'll cut it now. Thanks for attending. I'm really happy that so many people actually attended. I just have to figure out how to cut the stream. I think you do it from this place here. Okay, thanks all, and I hope to see you in 5 hours before the market closes again. Have a great trading day, everyone.